everybody, and welcome to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I'm your host, Lauren Lebry. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And what I love about this show is I never stick to one format, so I go all over the place. So this week we are doing a series recap on the great Cobra Kai. When his idea even came out, it exceeded my expectation. I was heavily nervous for it, but I must say up front, spoiler alert, madness. I gave this a couple weeks here for the true fans to get this out of their system. I started watching it the last 6 or last 5, whatever it was, at like 11:30 in the morning. I was just like, I gotta get this out of the way, because I didn't want people dropping spoilers. You have one or two things when a show drops. Either watch it immediately or do not go online. Because if you go online and see a spoiler, that's your fault. That's your fault because the world doesn't adapt to you like that. I always hate when people yell, "Stop spoiling the show." Like, dude, we don't wait until you see something. Stay on social media, man. So, yes. And anyone who has any comments on the YouTube page, all comments are always answered, positive, negative, or how stupid or goofy you might get. I will comment and answer them all. All right, so with me this week is filmmaker Jack Hunter, who will actually be getting into his film later after we get done with the Cobra Kai tribute here. Jack has been on the show before. Jack, welcome back, pal.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm glad to be back, and I'm excited to see what we can get into here.
Absolutely. So let's just bring the magical logo on stage here for a second. The magical Cobra Kai. So I got to go out and start with saying I'm from this era. I was a little boy when this happened. There were 3 movies in the 80s that made me want to do karate or become a ninja. It was American Ninja, it was Karate Kid, and it was Revenge of the Ninja. I'm telling you, those 3 movies I watched repeat. But, you know, when you say American Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja, those guys were like already trained. They were just butt-kicking machines. Karate Kid was so different because it was a kid getting built from the ground up and who wasn't being picked on in school and like wish someone would come to their rescue. If you had older brothers or friends that stuck up for you, good for you. I didn't have that. I didn't have confidence when I was a kid. So the whole idea, like I wanted someone to come. So I will always say my favorite movement of the whole Karate Kid series is when, you know, Daniel's being jumped by Cobra Kai, and here comes Mr. Miyagi and cleans house. To me, I still get chills over that because I think we all wish when that would happen. Like someone would come and rescue us. So
he's like the grandfather we always wanted. Like we loved our grandparents, but man, if we had a Mr. Miyagi granddad, that would have been like, you know, icing on the cake for childhood.
Yeah, and this was such a different take because the whole idea of, I mean, I'm a child. You know, so I'm not thinking that, hey, I might have called this out when I was more of an adult, but when he's doing all the cleaning at Mr. Miyagi's house, the wax up, I'm like, what is he doing to this kid? I was like, walk away.
Like slave labor. Like, fuck that. Like, why am I helping build his house? I thought he's
so when that hit, when he realized what he was doing was practice and that music kicks in, like, my entire body turned into goosebumps. So Karate Kid was so important. And being a kid, too, it's like the first film was the story of Daniel LaRusso. The second film, when it came out, I was all about, like, they're going to be a Team Miyagi versus Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai is quickly off the storyline. I hated Karate Kid, too. I remember we were like, what happened? And this. But as you get older, you realize, well, that's the story of Mr. Miyagi is really part 2, which needed to be done. When you fast forward to what Cobra Kai is, this is the story of Johnny, Miguel, and Robbie. Daniel LaRusso's, and that's the B storyline.
Yeah,
It's the journey of Miguel. Yes, Miguel and Robbie and Johnny.
If anything, I think the story is a sequel to part 3 in that aura, I should say, of Cobra Kai. Like that is where this story really takes place after, the whole theme of part 3. To me, that's what I feel.
Yeah, so when this got announced, for a lot of people are just glued that this was Netflix. The first 2 seasons, this was a YouTube original.
YouTube Red, yeah.
Yes.
I watched both seasons religiously. I even got I think it was you had to subscribe to YouTube Red in order to get that, or you could get them on the pirated sites. But one thing I will say that sucked about YouTube Red, at least on my computer at the time, when you would go to the next episode, it would start 3 minutes from the end for some reason. It was really weird. So at the very end of the season, I knew Miguel won without.
Oh, nightmare! This is my youth. I gotta at least try an episode, and it grabbed me quick. So I believe the first 2 episodes were free on YouTube. So now we got you hooked. Are you gonna buy the rest? So when I first saw these 2, the humorous of what Johnny turned into, being stuck in the 80s, the hair metal, he's analog. I loved it. It was just so great. And I really quickly, it's when you meet Miguel and Dimitri and Hawk, you're just here's these 3 kids that are just nerds getting picked on. So I like that. It wasn't starting off with badass kids.
Oh yeah, the way it sucks you in, was very genius. You get the normal pissed off rivalry from right off the bat that Johnny thinks he was wronged for 30 years.
With an illegal kick.
With an illegal kick. Thank God they got away from that bullshit after, I think, season 3. I think then he mellowed out. But thinking back and reanalyzing the first Karate Kid movie as an adult, Daniel was a fucking bully. Daniel was a bully.
Okay, so we got to Johnny was instigating, but Johnny to me did it right, because when him and Daniel first met in the beach, okay, he's bullying Daniel a little bit, but Johnny did what every karate instructor tells you: do a warning shot. So when he tripped him and knocked him down, it's I'm announcing to you what's about to happen next.
Yeah,
and Daniel got up and chose to hit him. Well, Johnny cleaned his house. He cleaned. Johnny, that's really what karate is. I mean, maybe he should have let the alley thing go. She's out on a date. I'll try to talk to her after, but was
he stole his girl.
And you have to also say that whole shower scene. Daniel, you freaking asked for that. Putting the hose over. It's you guys are out in public. They know you're there. I mean, at least it seemed cordial, but man, wrong.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah, and there was a deleted scene that didn't make it to the final cut, which would have thrown the whole dynamic of the underdog story out. And it shows Daniel being a little dickhead. He's a straight up asshole to him. Granted, Johnny wasn't the most pleasant person, but not to play with a snake. The old saying is the old, I forgot, it's a story, I think, from the Bible or something, or just a lesson. It's don't play with danger. If you play with a snake and a snake tells you it's not gonna bite you, and it bites you, you already know that it was a snake before you picked it up. So why even attempt flirting with danger?
And we learned that the most through interviews through Jake the Snake Roberts. For the record, he used to always say that. You shouldn't have trusted me. You never trust a snake. But yeah,
I met Jake the Snake. But yeah,
yes, but that absolutely, and so freaking good. And I just loved how this came out of the gate. I like how Johnny accidentally runs into Daniel, and that the whole thing. But like Johnny is still holding that grudge. Daniel doesn't understand. He still is for a short bit of time, and like I thought this was so comical, serious. Also, point was letting you know it was a little campy, but it was awesome. Like a modernized, awesome show, and this was a show at the beginning that you knew could go off the rails because to me, the end of season 2. When Miguel, the big fight in the school, and then Miguel breaks his back.
Dude.
The very first episode after, the fact that there was even students and there wasn't parents rushing to each dojo, like, what are you teaching my kid? No, I'm not paying this. Yeah, I'm pulling my kid out. Like, that was just never talked about. It's like, okay. But this is a show where you get to do that. But that was great. And
yeah.
I could just tell. I guess we could start rolling through some of these characters here, and so out of the gate, we have a lot of characters here, and we'll not be able to get to them all. But I just got to run through. I'd say the top 15 here at least. Mm-hmm. I have to throw out. Sometimes they make a character that is just on screen enough, and they hit a home run and they get out of there. So I'm going to start off with this one, Jack. The almighty ass
penis breath.
Yeah, ass face, penis breath. He was this. It's weird because when you say ass face and penis breath, and you're doing it through through the 2020, the current, like people get mad at that. I love that they didn't care. I love that. Like. Welcome back to the 80s. This is how we talk to each other.
Facts, like when you could, but the thing is like the ones they were bullying, each of them could kick each other's ass.
Yes.
There's a difference. They were going after the underdog, but like you learn that each of these mofos could probably beat the shit out of all of us. I mean, as they're written,
Yeah.
But penis breath. And when he was eating the nachos at the very last episode, Johnny's like, penis breath.
I think because he got the worst of the made fun of it. Besides, to me, the worst one ever was Johnny when he met Eli the first time, and he said, "What's up with your lip?" And he's just like, "Nothing. I had surgery." He's like, "You better go get your money back. You better do something about that." You're like, "Oh my gosh!" But I love that. That was just he's good, and I love too how he flipped. Like it was one of the last 2 seasons, he flipped again, and
we'll talk about that.
You guys call me ass face, and then like the Cobra Kai guys start calling him ass face again. So like he didn't win.
He didn't win. But wait, who? No, like Hawk or penis breath.
I'm talking about penis breath.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Hawk. I mean, we'll get the storyline later. Yeah, he's obviously one of the core guys here. But all right, so then I got to bring up my next one here. It's only 1 episode or 2, but she is the reason all this came together. We got to pay a tribute to her.
Allie. Oh wow.
Yeah, I got to say, Allie was the first when I was a kid realizing girls aren't yucky and I only got to hang out with guys. Like Allie was the first actress, Elizabeth Shue, where I was like, well, I do like girls.
Yeah.
Girls can't be in the treehouse, all that. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, this girl's like so beautiful. Like, wait, maybe I do like girls.
I think Allie was. I just hate that. Like, how could I say? We see her in Karate 1 episode. I mean, Karate Kid 1. Never again.
That was after all that was just one quick dialogue. Yo, she left me for some football player. It's like after all that, I took all these meetings for you, and then like you just ran off with a football player, huh?
Like she friend zoned him. Like after the competition, like you kicked his ass, you kicked my ex's ass. Okay, but I just want to be friends.
Yeah.
Like
I guess it would be weird to bring a teenage girl to Japan because that's where they were going and all that, but. That was a weird way to write them all. I was all about not liking that second movie till I got older because you killed everything out of the first movie. But
yeah,
as you age, you realize no, that's a good movie. Especially
yes.
Mr. Miyagi's rival guy, the way he talked the entire time.
And then Chosen. Oh my God, the way Chosen came back, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway, all right, cool. All right, next
one I got to go out with. This was a personal curveball. I saw this person and was immediately in love. This is the part I'm going to miss the most over Cobra Kai. Call me a little teenage kid. I love Mrs. LaRusso. Oh my gosh.
Those lips, that bright red lipstick and
them
big
eyes, that face. Oh yeah. If everyone's ever paid attention when I would say now watching Cobra Kai, I always just posted a picture of her like a teenage boy. But she's adorable. And I thought she was used just enough. And I thought her coolest arc with her was in the middle of the Tori Sam thing, where it was really high. Like that Tori went to her and she still stopped a second saying, like, I'm an adult here.
Yeah.
Even though you're beating my daughter up, like I'm going to take the time to listen and learn who you are. And it was the right thing to do, because sometimes someone's got to be the adult in the room. Well, that's what she did. She was the adult in the room.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like I like her story arc, but the first 2 seasons, she was annoying because it was like she was like Daniel had the good angel and the bad angel, the heaven and hell. And she was always like more heaven and on like, let it go, forgive. I don't want you to do karate. It'll just bring out the worst in you, blah, blah, blah. And then towards like season 3 on up, she's like, let's let our kids be ass kickers.
She's the only woman we know that punched Kreese directly in the face.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yes. And but like she's the perfect wife, other than the first 2 seasons to me. And I think that's probably because it switched to Netflix. It was just like Netflix was like, yo, can she like do something, like instead of being a whiner all the time. But yeah, I think her story arc with as a mother was very well done. She tried to make the best decisions and to bring the kids together and do things that Daniel couldn't do, because Daniel's their father figure throughout the whole thing. Well, actually, I say Daniel's more Mr. Miyagi, and Johnny is like the uncle that you don't invite to you don't want to invite to family functions, because there's always something going to come up. Like they're going to say something inappropriate. They're going to bring up something from 30 years ago, God damn, let it go, bro. And then it's like they never left that mentality. But yeah, I think in that sense that the mom, Miss LaRusso, oh God, I would go to if that was my friend's mom, I'd be there every damn day. And look how rich they were. Jesus Christ. Just from owning a car dealership, I'd be like, I'm a foster kid. No relation, no blood. So whatever happens, Mom. I know that's another site that you'd want to see that on.
Without a doubt, we'll keep it clean.
Yes.
All right. Pure Gold, again, enough screen time. Come in, hit a home run, and leave.
Oh, Stingray. Stingray. Now, Stingray didn't come in until, season 3 when they went to Netflix, or season 4? It was he was
a little later, but I don't think he's as late as you think.
Let's Google. I'll Google that while you talk about him.
All right, go for it. So Stingray is an absolute perfect character. Again, he has just enough of time. He would hit a home run and he would leave. And there's always that one person. I remember being a teen, especially where I lived, where you had guys in their late 20s trying to hang out with the teenagers. Like I'm still cool. And this guy,
oh my God, like Billy Madison.
Yes. But he was a bad person, but just like, dude, you're the capital L for loser. You don't work. You live with your mom. yeah, you may cut the grass and everything and do some chores, but like, dude, get a job, like do something. And the fact that this dude was just doing anything to stay young, and
Dude, he was, God, how can I say, he was the guy that you do not want to turn into in the beginning.
yes,
Like your parents prayed that you would not turn out like he did. Like that's what it was to me.
And he just had some really funny, wherever he was at, you'd forget about his character was there, but he'd come in and help the team somehow and stuff. Like it was it's crazy. Like whatever, during the fights at the school, he was the security guard, or they were capturing a flag in the woods, and he just buried himself in the ground and came up and grabbed the. He didn't hit anybody. He just tricked everybody. It was good. Stingray made me happy.
Oh, season 2. He came up in season 2.
Okay, I knew it was early. I knew it wasn't the first. That one I knew.
My bad. My bad.
No big deal. All right, next we're gonna go with the only character from the third one was not that good of a freaking movie, but this character sure the hell was.
Oh,
Mike Barnes.
Mike.
We knew this character was gonna eventually return.
Yes,
he just knew both of them were going to come from the third one, but this was a badass. To me, this was the cool part about the third movie was Cobra Kai's back, and we found someone worse for Daniel to fight, like this the pure jock, and I like how they brought him back, and I still think it's a classic how he was selling furniture and Daniel breaks in and yells at him. He broke it. Daniel broke into his place and he was listening to a phone call, and then he yells at him and he's like, I can't sell furniture.
Oh, yeah.
He was like making a deal. He was just like yelling at the guy because they were going back and forth in price.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's one of those, it's one of those things to where when you look at it, Daniel really didn't get over the past either. He was stuck in 1984 or 85. He was, but he also, to me, he put it all behind him compared to the other guys, except this was the Achilles heel, though, will always be Cobra Kai to open up that door. So the second Johnny opened up the Cobra Kai, it's like he relapsed. He turned back into that immediate, So, and his wife saw it. That's what Miss LaRusso saw. Like when that shit popped up, and it was like, she's like, "Oh fuck." Yeah.
So, but I thought the one of my favorite moments was when Barnes. I don't know which season this was. I get him a little hazy, but there was a part where it was Barnes, Johnny Lawrence, and LaRusso, and Barnes wanted to go in the room and beat everybody up. And Lawrence looks at Lewis like, I like this guy. Like you can see the similarities of like the jockey 80s, just kill everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in the room. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was great how they kept him even in season 6. Like he was these are Johnny and Daniel look at, these are our students. We don't want them to be hurt by picking the teams. Like we're going to bring Barnes in. He's going to pick who's going to go to nationals,
Right. And Barnes didn't show up until season 5 either.
Yeah, he was late.
Yeah, he was a late comer, and we all knew he was coming, but I think didn't he really show up like in like the season 4 ender, like the last scene, wasn't it? I could have swore that like that's how he showed up. It was, I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't think he did. I think they showed a reference to him.
Yeah, and
it was the same thing with I think when Kreese calls, who we're going to get to very shortly. Like where he has to go next. All right, next we're going to jump into one of my personal. He was actually at one point my favorite character of the show. I love his involvement. This is a great character because I love his lines. I love his delivery. Mm-hmm. Dimitri.
Oh, Dimitri, yes, God. Dimitri was the best friend that I think everyone had as a kid. Like you had that one friend that was annoying, always right, and you hated the fact that he was always right.
But everyone also could. I relate to Dimitri because also you always have that one friend that doesn't want to break the cycle. So anytime you saw a new idea, he'd be like, "That is not going to work. That is not for us." So that was one of the things I could relate to because all my friends, I was always the guy. It's why I left my hometown that wanted to go do everything. And my friends were like, "That's not for us," or "What makes you think you could do that?" And a lot of them, I don't think they wanted me to leave the nest, but I left anyway. So I understood that. And he was just funny with his delivery. And I love the dialogue he has in season 2 with Kreese when he shows up and he's explaining like how he's going to do the karate here, and like he's making a deal and he just walks out with a bloody nose. Like I was like, that's great because you need to see him get hit. There was no reason for that.
Right, and if I am not mistaken, he is the only kid or like quote unquote teenager that actually gets laid throughout the entire series.
Yes,
and it happens to be during the finale. Like, get the fuck.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? Hey, getting with I mean, yeah.
I also don't think I mean, I could go more towards the end here, but see, I don't think when they made these 15 episodes, they pictured there was going to be these gaps in between. So when you look at Dimitri and Hawk, which we'll get to a little bit more later, but they were hardly in those last 5 episodes. Minus like, hey, we're going to go back to that. So I felt like they got lost. So the fact that Dimitri is, getting it on during the big tournament, good for him. And I like too of like how nerdy he was, and he ended up with like the hottest girl at the school. I thought that was really cool. And he definitely had, when him and Hawk were going at it in season 2, and like he's petrified of them, the fact that he anticipates and one's up Hawk and throws him through the glass trophy thing. And all that. Yeah. I love that. That was great. And I don't, the kid grew on me. I love especially the scene I always remember him the most will be when he was in the freezer and he's like anticipating and he's learning and all that. And he finally gets a move on. And it was like a big buildup for the next move. And the next guy just runs up and kicks him like in the stomach and he's like block it. Like, this is perfect. This is why I love this character.
Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that he didn't give 2 fucks about what people were becoming because he knew who they really were. Like calling out Hawk for peeing the bed up until a certain age. Like, dude, that is the biggest like FU, like to somebody, like letting them know about themselves.
Yeah, it's like, I know you, no matter what front you're putting on. I know who you are, man.
Yes. Yes. It was very that's all I'm saying. Dimitri just didn't give 0. He gave 0 fucks is what 0. He was just like, you may act like a cool dude and with the cool crowd now, but you're always going to be the kid that peed in the bed. And he just
and you all watch Doctor Who, it was like
yes.
So, and this is when Doctor Who's bad,
Yeah.
All right, we're getting into some of the more heavyweight guys here, so we're gonna kick it off with, to me, the character. As soon as when this show was going, you just knew characters were gonna come back. I couldn't wait for this one, and he delivered. Terry
Silver, that asshole.
Could I just go out and say, I talk about how much I love the first one. The second one took a while to grow on me. In the third one, there was a rebound, but you could kind of tell it was over. Terry Silver, to me, is the gem because me and my friends used to do his lines because he overacted. Like he overacted, was so loud. Like, oh my God. We used to just do Terry Silver nights. Like we just go around and we're gonna go out and act like that in public, and everybody be like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" But we would just amuse ourselves. But I love this character, and I love the fact that they threw a curveball with his debut when Kreese answers. He doesn't say a word. He hangs up, and he's
Mhm.
different. He's different. I love that. I thought that was really freaking cool. But, you know, again, like you said, when we're talking about how Daniel was all cool until he sees the Cobra Kai logo, like that was one stone unturned. Like it was always there. He's like an alcoholic. It's like the beer is always in front of him. Don't make me drink it. You drink it, and now that's it. The diet's cast. We're in trouble.
I will say the most unbelievable thing about this series was like you had to suspend disbelief a lot with the Terry Silver's character, because in the real world, the shit that he did, he would not get away with it. Like in the first 5 episodes of season 6, you know, it's just shown that, oh, he got off on a technicality because no one wanted to testify against him. Like, that wouldn't have happened if there was clear evidence that you were going to kill the fucking dojo, you know, and teenagers, and people did die. That's the thing that's never really brought up again, but people died. He killed people in the show. And yeah, that was really hard for me to get away from the idea of that, because he was a murderer. Like he had no conscience whatsoever, and if he did have a conscience, it was gone. So the whole story arc of him getting away with murder, literally, it didn't sell me. I wasn't sold on it. Straight up, I was not sold on it.
So, for the record, a lot of people may know, maybe not known. This guy actually is like 6'5" and was a karate champion. Like Terry Silver really is. It's a reason he got.
Really
yeah, there's a reason he got this role. And if anyone watches part 3, I mean, look at him now in Cobra Kai. He's still a big guy, but when you like see him in his prime in that Karate Kid movie, you're like, what an intimidating dude. He's 6'5". He's like all muscled up, the ponytail. You're just like, yeah, this is what a karate champion looks like. So I'm not. So we're gonna keep going with Terry Silver. Okay. But I don't want to go any further with Terry Silver until we bring up this character. So because one, you need the other. One's not good without the other. So we're also gonna bring in right here the almighty man himself, John Kreese.
All right, so. I'll start this one off.
Go for it, please.
At the end of season 5, it could have ended when he died. His story arc could have ended, but they kept going like 2 more minutes, and it shows him getting away. I did not like that.
Neither did I. I stand with you 100%. Yep, he should have went.
Just went, but I'm glad he didn't. You know, the payoff in the final episode was, or no, it was episode 3. I'm sorry. So it'd be episode 13 of season 6. I was crying my ass off. There was not a dry bone in my body for that one. Dear God, man, like I am happy he didn't die, but at the time, I was really pissed off that he lived, because I'm like, why are y'all going to build up to that and then nothing? Like, get the fuck out.
Well, to me, when he came back, it bothered me kind of like the school fight of the parents not being there the next day. Like, what are you teaching my kid? And even we didn't go near this part yet, but the part 2 of season 3, when the kid landed on a knife, I'm like, there would be no tournament. Like there was lawsuits, insurance. They would never got insured ever. Like, in all fact, like the teachers even got in a fight. Are you kidding me? Like this is a karate tournament. Like this isn't World War over food. Like stop it. But so that's my take on like Kreese dying and coming back, because there was a part that's like, this needs to end. I actually think season 5 should have been the end. I think you could have kind of condensed all of it, and you know, it is what it is. But you know, But when it comes to Silver and Kreese, I liked how they went back to Vietnam and you saw the young Kreese and how he saved them. And, Terry Silver, I like the whole idea with peeling the snake skin. I love that saying when he was talking about, like, you're my weakness and Johnny Lawrence will always be your weakness. I dug that a lot. And I loved how Silver set him up at the end of season 4 or 5. I'm getting a little hazy between the two. Had him arrested. I dug that whole thing. And this whole ending here where Terry Silver's dying and this is all he has left. I was like, that's about the only storyline I could come up with like, why does a millionaire care at this point? Like, why do you care so much about other kids in this tournament? Like I didn't understand that. So it helped me understand the character a little more. I do not like that this turned into another 80s movie ending for Kreese of he comes a good guy.
Come on.
I don't like that. To me, that was the entire 80s of no matter what. Even Johnny Lawrence at the end of Karate Kid, you're all right, LaRusso, and he hands him the trophy. I hate all that. I hate it. The end of Purple Rain, Morris Day and the Timer dancing the Princess song after that long. That's one thing I don't miss about the 80s. Like, you're a bad guy, be a bad guy to the end. And that was the only beef. But I do like that they're blown up. Now, for everybody that was, I had one question at the end of 6. They're going through all the characters and, wrapping them up. They never brought up the death of Kreese and Terry Silver. And when the credits rolled, I was sad, but the first thing that popped in my head of like, why didn't they bring that up at all? The reason we'll get to you in a second. Maybe you have a little more because piece.
I'm just commenting. Like I don't know the reason.
I just watched something on Screen Rant where they talk about the new Karate Kid that's coming out with Jackie Chan and Daniel takes place 3 years ahead of this timeline. So
I thought it was 5.
I thought it was 3, but okay. But the point is, we're years ahead.
Yeah.
In case they want to somehow continue this show, maybe it's a good idea not to mention that they're 100% dead because that's a way to bring them back.
Right.
I thought at the end when Johnny was bringing flowers to his mom, I actually thought he was visiting Kreese's grave. That's what I thought was about to happen. Like he made peace with him. But I was like, okay, so that's what I think. Because reality, we're filmmakers. Whatever you put in the script, you can bring anyone back for any reason.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they were holding on to of don't mention that they're gone. Because in reality here, without going into breaking down these characters to a point, but you got this guy here. I mean, if you really want to continue, you could go with Anthony taking over and growing into his own. I thought Kenny here, I thought his storyline ended abruptly. You got Devin here. I mean, there was still more you could tell if you wanted to do a season 7 or some sort of spinoff. So when it comes to the end of Silver and the Kreese, cool. You had to end it somehow, but I thought it was kind of cool how they just died. Like you live by the sword, you die by the sword, sort of thing. So that from the past that comes back and to me steals the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Chosen.
Chosen.
Yeah,
that asshole, that guy, man. Chosen was a good character for the show. I didn't expect to love Chosen as much as I did. I think they did him dirty in the first 5 episodes of season 6, where it's just like he's trying to fall in love, then he just leaves and he's not spoken of until 6 episodes later. He just comes back.
But Jack, I think you'll agree with me on this. I think they've made so many good characters. Even like Devin Lee had a whole season where it was almost she came the lead actress, but you had so many characters and Kenny and all them where it came to the point where at the end I don't think they had enough time to wrap them up. And this is where I think you're talking about the Chosen. Like, to me, he peaked with the fight, like the big fight with Terry Silver and all that. Like when he was drunk and like kicking ass and like he was swimming naked at the LaRusso's house. Like when he came like more of the funny guy.
Yeah.
I don't think they knew what to do with this guy at the end. I think it was like, what do you do? Because I just thought him saying like, Daniel, you know him, you know how to talk to him, Nick. You got to talk to him. He's about to lose. I was like, what else do you do with him?
Yep.
The only thing I can think of is like do you want that? Do you want the character to be sent off? Like he goes back to Japan. He's with, he does get the girl after all. He did get the Cobra Kai girl, which I was like, good for you, dude.
Right? Yes. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing is like, she's all like straight Japan in the show. Dude, she's Australian. She has the thickest Australian accent ever. And you're like, when I saw an interview with her, or I saw her like through a Facebook reel and shit, and dude, she's the youngest of all the older characters. You thought he was going to be a total dick, but the guy like mellowed out over the years, and that was
humiliated how what he did, by not helping at the end. I thought though it was cool for him that he beat Daniel, like in the whole Knowles Hall. I thought that was great because like he's been waiting to do that. Like he wants to kill him, but he knows he's got to help him. But he's like, that don't mean I ain't gonna fight him first. I gotta get this out of my system. Yeah, and very well they do. They get it. They get everything taken care of. Like it was. I think with what they did with this show, with his character, was justice to part 2, because he needed a redemption arc, and even though it probably wasn't the best film in the franchise, he got his story arc completed, and then he ends up with the woman. He goes through the heartbreak of being in love with a woman for over 30 years. And I thought they were going to lead into she loves someone else, and it was someone else, like someone they knew. She was in love with someone else. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I'm glad it didn't. It would have made it cheesy. I did like those episodes where he went back to Okamana. Like I thought that was great. Like he meets her and he sees the place kind of went corporate. Like I thought that was a cool flashback. That was definitely something that they got to revisit. And what a lot of people don't know, part 2 is the one that made the most money.
Really?
Yes. For us fans that love karate, the first one is where it's at. That second one made so much money. I guess people were just a tad, but maybe it was more to the adults. Like, okay, we get to learn Miyagi's, arc. But I remember leaving the theater and I was upset. My dad loved it. He's like, "Oh, that was a good movie." I was like, "No, there's no Cobra Kai. They were in for like 2 seconds." But
yeah.
I'm like 9 years old, so like what do I know? So, but
what do you know? How dare you?
All right, now we're gonna start getting into the heavyweight hitters here as we wrap up the end of this here. Starting off with Samantha LaRusso.
Wow, Mary Mouser.
Yes, now Mary engaged to Tanner, aka Robbie.
Yes, oh my God,
Sam, so by the way, you wouldn't think it, but she's 28 years old and was like a senior in high school in this show.
yes, that's another thing. Like their casting, like their youth is amazing. Mary Mouser, I had a crush on her from day one, and then I had to realize how old she was, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm in the clear. It was one of those like, like, whew, but she has this youthfulness and spoke to her as an actress and as a person too. And she
has energy when she enters the room of like everything's gonna be okay.
Yes,
That's sort of thing too. And like if you're in a bad mood, like yo, she's here. Like, knock it off. Be cool because she's here.
Right.
Sort of thing.
And,
yeah.
She's actually, unfortunately, the one actress that got bullied from the internet for the last 6 years too.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, because of her weight gain and everything else, due to her, like, I'm assuming like medicine she's on or whatever. And I always thought she was beautiful the way she was. Like, she just grew. She was growing with the series. And yeah, there was a very obvious weight gain from some of the seasons. But the thing is her as a person is just so beautiful. Yeah. Like, who cares? You know, like, you shouldn't really care about a weight gain or anything like that.
Everybody who commented on her weight was in perfect shape, right? I mean,
absolutely, yeah. Everyone who was commenting was clearly,
all their stomachs. I better see six packs or shut up.
Right, exactly. And it was quite unfortunate, but her as a character and an actress, like, it was just she started a lot of shit, like, as a character. Like, she caused a lot of that damn drama, that childhood teenage bullshit. But, the way her character developed over the 6 seasons, I was very impressed. I loved how she was written, and I'm glad she wasn't a throwaway character either. And she was the one that made sense. Like, I just don't want to fight anymore.
So I got a lot to unpack with this one here. Okay. So I thought she was everything you said, and she was nice. She tried to do the right thing. At the same time, her father's from New Jersey, so she has that short fuse too, where she's got her moments of stirring the pot. I dug her, and I really loved the last episode, or it was the one before, or whatever, where he tells Daniel, "I don't want to fight." When Daniel says the words, and this is the reason I got into martial arts, was to protect myself first, was before I went to, staying in shape and all that. But LaRusso has the best line where he goes, "Karate did the best thing for you. It taught you don't have to fight." Meaning, people won't want to even take outside of this tournament. People don't want to take you on. They know you can protect yourself. That's what martial art really is in the end. Is everyone that was picking on you, now it's a second guess. Like, do I want to take this person on, knowing that they're trained? I think that was a beautiful thing. And did you really want to see Tori and her fight as friends? Like, now, like, I thought it was great. I loved it. Was obviously ridiculous. You kissed my boyfriend at a party. I'm going to go into school and announce I'm coming to beat you up, and it turned. That was the most over the top thing ever. I mean, the show's called Cobra Kai, not Miyagi-Do. That Miyagi-Do was out of the tournament, but like, they still won anyway because they were.
Oh, speaking of that, let's get. Wait till we get to that.
Yeah. I dug that, but Sam, I also felt for her character, and I kind of know what it's like. She beat Tori in that street fight, in the school. But the whole fact that she kept dreaming about, like, basically the Ric Flair of saying you did it once, now let's see you do it again. Like, even though she won, she was scared of her. I thought that was, in no effect, when they broke Dimitri's arm, like, she could have helped and she hid. That, someone got in your head. I could understand that. I bet do something similar. The next character is, I'm going to say on the show, I'm about to bring up, is the one I can personally relate to a lot. And that is Eli, also known as the Hawk. Reason I could say that, I was the nerdy kid that got picked on, wanted this to be liked. But most of all, when you saw this kid flip into that character, his big thing was be as hard and badass as you possibly could, because I don't want anyone to pick on me the way I was being picked on. And I could say, not to his degree, I did that when I took martial arts. I flipped. I was like, no one's ever going to do what was previously done to me. So I heavily relate to this character. I thought, again, I said how they cut these series up here into 3 parts. There wasn't much, again, just such a powerful character between him and Dimitri. They didn't really have a lot of time in these last 5 episodes besides we're going to different schools and, oh, now we are going to the same school. High five. I thought there could have been a little bit more done with him, but I liked him a lot. God, I could go on. God, I liked his arc. I like how he came back. But again, this is not just Eli, but all the characters was like WWF. It turned into like everybody jumped from sides 3 or 4 times over again.
Yes. I could agree with that. Everybody jumped from. You ended up hating Hawk at one point because when he hurts Dimitri, and you're like, what the fuck? And then in the same fight, like, goes back. Was it the same fight or was it the next season where he like?
No,
I'm sorry.
It was 2 episodes later, but I also didn't like though with that. What I thought they did him wrong is you could see he was going to do it. Like, I thought it would have been more shocker if, like, he just went and did it and like, showed a flashback after he does the double kicks in the air of, like, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. But, like, you gave it away.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I dug him a lot. I liked how that – but there was one particular part, season 3 or 4, where they were doing tryouts. And they brought in that Asian kid that was I forgot his name, but he was like the jockey guy, and he had a partner that was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Where they come in and they see him, and he says to Kreese, "These aren't Cobra Kai worthy." I understand. Even after you get training, there's some people that just in your head, and you see like he felt uncomfortable. He relapsed back to being the nerd. He's scared of them, but then he snaps and rips his shirt off, and like the guitar riffs and all that. Like, I'm gonna throw this kid a beating. Like, I kind of had something similar happen to that, and the way I look at it now, I'm like, he wasn't hospitalized in any way, but I think I went a little overboard on that one. But I also understand that part. That was a hit home moment when he was on top. By the way, there's no martial arts school that allows you to beat someone the way he was beaten.
No, there is not. If there is, you should immediately remove your child from there because that's how you raise serial killers.
Yeah, and like that was just ridiculous. But your thoughts on Hawk?
My thoughts on Hawk is he is one of those characters that I think is within all of us. If you were ever picked on as a child or dealt with bullying in any way, he's the character that we all strive to want to be like in the end. His arc was, again, another roller coaster of emotions throughout the entire series because you didn't know if he was playing his friend Dimitri or if he was being genuine. And you didn't really find that out until like the last season or so, the last 2 seasons. He went through so many dramatic changes of getting the girl, then trying to be cool, and then he turns into a douchebag that you absolutely hated. But by the end of that season,
he turned into everything that he hated, and I hate that because that happened to me too. I turned into everything I despise. It took me a while to catch myself. Like, dude, you're doing the same thing to others that was done to you. Like, shame on you. I was so mad when I caught myself doing that.
Yes. And but he became more real as the seasons moved on. He taught you about friendship. He taught you that, you don't have to change everything you are to be treated better. And he learned that the hard way. Mm-hmm. He learned that the whole becoming a badass doesn't mean you always have to be a badass.
Yes.
You can just handle yourself in a way to where, you be silent but deadly. But the whole expressing himself with his tattoos and is lashing out, rebelling. That's what it was. Like that first 2 seasons where he gets the Hulk tattoo. Like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like,
it was revenge of society. That's what it was. It was like, for everything that's ever been done to me, the world's now going to pay.
Right. And I'm glad he got that self-confidence, throughout the series, but I'm glad they brought him home. They made him like never really changed who he was in the very end, with him, choosing to pass down a college to be with his best friend, and I think that would be an interesting, less Cobra Kai, but more family drama. If they do a spinoff, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be like Cobra Kai-esque to it whenever
I think it's coming back, but I think it has to go to bed for like 7 years, and
absolutely,
and maybe they're not going to be the focus. Like maybe their kids. Well, I don't know. None of them have kids, so I don't know how they would do that. But maybe they're going to train other kids, and they're going to be the focus. But it's something that could get brought back. It does need to go away for a while. Like it needs outside of the movies.
Yes, I agree. I think it's going to have to die down, just like when the new episode, with Stranger Things, when that comes out again, I think it's going to have to go away. Literally, I mean, they technically go away for like 3 or 4 years before a new season. But
that's all I know is they're in the 90s because they're too big. They're adults now. They're not kids anymore.
Yeah. So, but that's a whole other podcast. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's gonna have to go to bed after Karate Kid Legends comes out, and we see where the story has progressed for 3 to 5 years. I think it's 5 years. Let me double check that. But yeah, it's gonna have to go to bed. It's gonna definitely have to go to bed.
Yep. All right, we're down to the final 6, and this is a character that came in season 2, and me stole the show. The great Tori.
Tori.
I'm leaving her up there just for 1 second, and then I'm going to say compliment her the most respectfully as possible. But one of the most striking people I've ever seen. Like, she is perfectly blessed with beauty. Like, I'll just leave it at that. Like, that's a Hollywood star. That's why she's been active in other shows and movies. Amazing to look at. I mean, and she's full of talent. It's kind of funny. If you want to say my types of girls, it's kind of funny because you had both. I've always liked the really nice girl that's smiling all the time, like Samantha, but yet I love the hard, tough girl like Tori. And it's like, I was like, wow, you gave both to this show. But what a great character arc. At one point I started wondering, is she the lead? At one point, I started to say to myself, like, did she become the lead? But what a story arc. I thought it was done very well outside of when she flips to be with Kreese in season 6. I was like, ooh. But I understood, like, you had to get her in there somehow because Sam was representing the other side. So how do you get the other one in there? That was about the only blemish, but whatever. I thought this story arc was great. You got to learn about her family, her survival. See why she looked at Kreese as a father figure, even though, like, because he really was looking out. He was looking out for himself in his school, but I think in the end he can relate to her, like, So I got to take care of this girl. I dug that. Of course, she went off the rails, starting a gang fight in school. I mean, that was just a little over the top, but. I liked her from going from Miguel, she's dating Miguel, and now she's over here. But Robbie's the one I really can relate to because he's the badass of all this. Like, I can see why them two got together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think with what Tori brought to the table, Jesus, it gave the series spunk. She is a beautiful person, as you stated, in every way.
Yep.
And she's actually dating Hawk in real life.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. People are like always shocked, like, oh my God, I didn't see, like, why would you see it? They're
together all the time. Like, like saying, how's Robbie and Sam? Why are they together? Well, there's only a few. I mean, you're around each other long enough, right?
Yeah. But I think people kind of forget, like when they say, like in their real life, like they think they are those people.
I know.
I think that's where the next generation kind of forgets, like, oh, they're just actors. Like, no shit, But I loved her story arc, and the only thing I disagree in 6 seasons was what the fuck happened to her brother after she and Robbie gets those deals.
Yeah.
Bye family. Did they get it? Did he get adopted by the Russo family, or
paying a nanny? I don't. Yeah, you're right. It was a little weird, but
there's her millions. There's where it went to babysitting fees and daycare.
Yeah. I dug that she won. I don't remember her name, but the new girl from part 6 that's a complete beautiful knockout that does all the flips from the dragons.
Oh yes, she's actually like a 12th degree black belt.
Yeah, I see Instagram videos, which is just basically her flipping like 30 times in the air. Like, wow, that was a beautiful. That was a beautiful. First off, she's beautiful too. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But it was a perfect bounce off because she was Miss Gen Z. My phone.
Yes.
And I'm beautiful. And I got all these privileges. And then there's Tori. Like I got to pay the rent for my mom for the last 10 years. Like it was a perfect setup.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes in 1985. Like I come from money. Well, I'm the son of a plumber and I wear blue jeans. Like that was that storyline coming back.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of gotta agree with you on that. It was a very sorry, I'm muting my watch at the moment because it keeps going off. If you hear the dings, that's what it is. But I think that character, I don't know if you have her up, but she was Jesus. She's the girlfriend you really want in real life. You really want to fight me? Okay, well, you got to go through her to get to me. And she'd be like, all right, fuck it, let's go. And she is an athlete in character and out of character. If there was a Street Fighter movie coming out, which I think there is, it's in development, if I'm not mistaken, cast her as Chun-Li. Like I mean, I think she's Asian or Puerto Rican. I don't know what she is, but there might be some cultural appropriation going on with it. But get her as a stunt double and pay her more than the actress portraying.
I think she's only like 23 years old too, so she's got a long, good 10.
Oh my God, yeah, she's a good one. And that's the thing that sucks too about us being the age we are when we see these actors and actresses. They're like, damn, these are like beautiful, beautiful people, and we feel so bad because we're old and they're not. And I think that's what really sucks about being our age and seeing the beauty of the next generation.
It's one of those because I have to counter say because of martial arts. I got my figure. I owe everything to it. But for piggyback off what you're saying, I don't feel as bad, but I also understand when I see that group, even though they're fake and all that, it's just TV. I hate that I can't be a part of it.
You
don't want to be Stingray and be running around like, hey guys, I know martial arts too. Like you got to know how to balance that out. So this is where like the music, like when I made the Pennsylvania hardcore movie and the punk and hardcore scene, like that's ageless. That keeps me young as well. So I'm so happy I have that. But I go into our top 4, and to me, I have
top 4.
I have the top 4 in order in my eyes.
Okay.
And people might be like, you really? But I got to go with the 4th. He's the 4th guy into this whole series. I mean, he's the veteran and the original. You got to go with the story of of Daniel. Remember, like, he's the last here because the next three are really what the show's about. But Daniel, I thought it was kind of cool to see what we were talking about, how Johnny wasn't as bad as you thought, and Daniel was a little bit of the bad guy. You get to see that a little bit in this. You get to see a petty kid, this holding on to, because he was a good guy, but some of the stuff he did, he didn't understand through the eyes of other people that he is the bad guy. And you got to see this a little bit with this. And at the same time, here's this guy. When you say Karate Kid, I think of Miyagi. This was the only thing I wish we could have gotten. It's this unfortunate of human life of people pass away. But I did love how everything kept going back of, like, he's talking to Mr. Miyagi out loud of, like, I'm sorry, I'm trying my best. I don't know what to do. All of that. And even you can even say, when you talk about honor, there was the Cobra one season where Johnny as Eagle Fang and Miyagi Cobra Kai say whoever wins tournament, the other school goes away. Well, Cobra Kai won. Daniel and Johnny didn't go away. They didn't hold true to their word. They didn't. So
they didn't follow through with what they said.
The way everybody is kind of bad and all the way, but I also get how he's trying to protect his children. I also have to throw out this moment before I forget. The end of season 3, when the Cobra Kai kids attack the Miyagi-Dos in Daniel's house.
Oh, God, yeah.
They never brought that back. There was no cops being called. How do you explain that to your insurance company?
Like, I love Ralph Macchiano. Like, I love everything about him. But the way he's written throughout the series, he's a bitch. Yeah. It's like the teenage angst of, like, I'm always going to be better than you. I proved it. Knowing he did use an illegal kick 30 years ago to win a tournament. He was written like a little bitch. And Johnny always showed him, like, dude, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong. Here is what really happened. And Daniel was just so egotistical, never wanted to accept it until, like, the last few seasons. Until when Cobra Kai and Eagle Fang became one. I mean, or Miyagi-Do, when they all became one.
I think when Ali called them out at the diner and said, "You're both more alike than you think," was like the pinnacle
point. Yeah,
but
that was.
I thought they definitely did a lot of good tributes to the first, the other 3 movies. There's 4, but the 3 movies with Daniel. And I thought they definitely did the best they could for the Miyagi, flashing back. So, but again, I always tell people it's called Cobra Kai. This isn't Daniel's story. He's the B plot. So let's get into the main 3 people that are this series, starting with Robbie Keane.
Robbie,
I'd have to say, especially the first 3 seasons. I mean, I had a big thing with Eli, but if you want to say character that I got right on his side and wanted to see win, I was totally rooting for Robbie. I rooted for Robbie. I wanted to see Robbie win the tournament so bad, just once, and he didn't. But I liked his whole character arc. I was like you saying, when he made up with his father, I'm sick of blaming you and all that stuff. It was. Yeah, so it was. I really liked Robbie. I thought it was kind of cool that I felt bad when when Sam and Miguel got together when he was like, in a hiatus and all that. But he ended up with Tori, and I think they complement each other even better. So,
if you want to pause right there,
I'm reading it. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
I think. For Robbie's character, he is the ultimate badass to me in the entire series. Aside from Miguel and everyone else, I think he's the number 1 star of the show because the guy was pulled in so many ways, dealing with so many personal conflicts with his dad, over karate, and the jealousy that he caused his dad to have towards Daniel was just absolutely bonkers. Like it was crazy. Like why are you gonna do that just to piss off your dad? You're gonna go to his rival. He's a little douchebag. But towards the end, his story is just so immersive. Of like, you know, he as a father, and if I had my children, you know, want to piss me off, how can I say this as a father? He is the perfect prodigal son. You know, he leaves home and then comes back, and his dad, you know, welcomes him back with open arms. All his dad ever wanted to do was be a father, and until his son reached that breaking point of realization, you know, then he came back, and then the whole story of him getting with Carmen, and then him and Miguel becoming stepbrothers. That was just the most beautiful fairy tale story of real life.
Yeah.
Like it was beautiful. And I am so happy that they became the characters they became, and he got his payoff in the end, because, you know, after being a troubled kid and causing so much drama, he fucked up his future until the very last episode of Cobra Kai. And then it was the biggest payoff for 6 years.
It was. It was also one of the when he made up with Johnny.
In
a small way, his character was done.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's in it, but like his character's finished. Like he's got the girlfriend, he's got his dad back. Karate changed this troubled kid. You know, anti-dad. Okay, no, I do love my dad, and I love you too, Mr. LaRusso. Thank you for what you did. And his last thing was to win.
Yes,
but so I don't know. I think that I've heard a lot of good things in real life. That the kid Tanner is a really good kid, kind of keeps to himself and all that. And on this, he's going to have a wife. You know, he got the basically, you know, since 2018, he's been with this girl. It looks like so good for him. I'm curious where he lands next, because I've not seen him in anything at all.
I hope. Well, there's a rumor, and there's a fan casting for him to be Tommy Oliver on the new iteration of Power Rangers.
The guy that didn't win the tournament was offered that contract with Tori. I do find that a little weird, but it should have been Diaz. But speaking of Diaz, it's time to talk about the almighty Diaz. And I have him over Robbie as being like the true co-star of this. As it really is. It's just like, I don't know. At least I feel this character. Him and Dimitri and you know, Hawk. It was them three nerds. You know, here's this kid getting picked on. Hey, you know, will you train me? And that first season, the way he was when he was the only student, that dialogue between him and Johnny was some of the best things like ever. Just ever, like how funny it was and stuff, and how the beating this kid was taking. That was the big thing about this. It's like you didn't see the other characters getting hit. You just saw this kid repeatedly getting smashed, but he kept getting up.
And his asthma, his inhaler, the first episode, like Johnny's like, fuck this pussy shit. Like that's what it was. You don't need it. Like, so the doctor prescribed medication to help you breathe. He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Lawrence. Thank you.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
He also fixed his back. So Johnny can do anything.
Yes. And yeah, that dynamic. Oh my God. Like that first couple episodes of season 3, you really felt bad for Johnny Lawrence when it comes to Miguel, and you saw him change as a father too, because that's when I think that Robbie started to see like maybe my dad's not an asshole, you know, and that's where it's kind of like he got pretty much like the third act of a rom-com where or a villain film where it's the redemption. He got his redemption that season because he didn't even know if he wanted to continue Cobra Kai after what his influence caused these kids to do, especially to Miguel when he's crying there at the hospital.
That was the most emotional scene of the entire series when he said, "Sensei, I showed mercy. I did everything you said. What am I doing here?" I was like, then he starts crying. Like, yeah, that's the only scene in the entire series that kind of got me, because it's like, he's true. I put my entire soul into you, and look, I'm paralyzed, you know?
Yeah, and I think it is highly unbelievable. Highly unbelievable. And in a fantasy world, for him to be able to do that, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think you'd probably have to like slow it down to about 15 years for his full recovery. Maybe 10. 5.
You're saying one episode you can't be unparalyzed and walking again.
yeah, that was just that. But I mean, look, no one really knows the fact or the dynamic of strong will and free will.
I think any of the true stories of people that got up out of wheelchair, like, that's the stuff that turns me on in life, not media posts. I just love humans overcoming something. It's just it's the most beautiful thing ever. I love that.
And it probably was a motivation for people in Miguel's situation. Like, who knows how many people this show actually helped. Like, yo, if this they wrote it like this, or the way they see it, like, I could be like that. And then next thing you know, they're walking and doing everything. Now, I don't think him getting back into karate as fast as he did, that probably wasn't a good idea.
No, I also do like when they were doing the Eagle Fang practices in the park, and like, he couldn't do certain stuff. And I also liked how when he was fighting Hawk at the tournament, like, he fell, like, his back gave out and he yelled since. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, all right, he's not fully over this, but at least we could get this kid walking. And I do like how he walked away from the tournament because he needed to know who his dad was. I thought that was, I think Miguel had a very good arc, story.
Yes, I agree. And
I do like how him and Robbie got in a fight. Like, you got to get this out of your system once. Like I thought that was cool. Like, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and didn't Johnny let him, like, y'all gonna do this? If didn't that happen? Like, they're like, you gotta get it out
your system, and then at the end he said, that's when he slipped. He goes, you gotta get this done before the baby gets here, letting them know that.
Yes. Yeah.
But Miguel had a moment where he could have really, I don't know, knocked Robbie off, and he didn't, and all that. Like, I thought that was really cool. But
I thought how he withheld that anger.
I thought Miguel, just like Robbie, had their story was told perfectly. I thought Miguel was told perfect start for all 6 seasons, where Robbie, by the time we got to 5, was kind of like wrapped, but he was still there because he was Robbie.
Right, and I believe the reason why he went off to find his dad for the writing of that part, was because the actor was filming Blue Beetle, so they had to write him off for a little bit for him to go do that.
And the Blue Beetle was Miguel. Like, to me, he was still
100%. It was like there was no differentiation. Like, it was just like. It was like the alternate universe of Miguel. Like, the family dynamic, everything was the same.
Carmen. It was Miguel's family without Carmen. That's really what it was.
Right. Yeah. And like it was so good.
I think that kid's gonna have a good future. I before we get into number 1 here, I think it's gonna be him, and I think it's gonna be Tori, or gonna be the ones that we see the most that I think could go the distance. I don't know if these other Cobra Kai kids, I don't know if they're typecasted. Like, they're always going to get work, but I don't know if when they walk into casting agency, they're going to be like, yeah, not you, because we see you at.
Yeah, that's the only issue I think that people are going to have, or casting directors is that alone, which
it's the Fonzie effect. That's what happened to Henry Winkler for a long time. Like, he walked in, they're like, dude, like, sorry, we know who you are, and no one's gonna believe you as anything else,
Or the Superman effect, as they call it too. Yep. Christopher Reeve, even after Superman, could not get a gig because he was typecast. Yeah, yep. I mean, he was a great actor.
Yeah,
And the only way he actually did something was by him having to direct it. You know, like Rear View Window. He did a remake of that.
I know what that is. Yep. So
and so I think that's the only thing that's gonna really deter anybody from from them getting jobs. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the beast. You do such a good job.
We'll have to check back on another podcast because we always find reasons. But I'm picking Miguel and I'm picking Tori are the only two that I think are protected that I think are going to be fine because they've been working outside. I've seen them and stuff. So
and Tori is actually on a hit show on Paramount Plus called School Spirits, and my God, I fucking love that show.
Never saw one episode, but I've been hearing about it. So that's good for her.
It's so weird in the beginning because like you don't really know what's going on, but you pick it up as you go, and it's such a good show. It has great actors that you've seen like in the Scream films, in like Disney Plus shows or movies, but it's really a good feel-good show, and you should get into it. I absolutely love it. I think people would really enjoy it if they watched it and give it a chance because it's so good right now. Like I'm not even lying to you. I fucking love it, and you should check it out. School Spirits on Paramount Plus. It's 2 seasons. We're halfway through the second season right now.
All right. Well, let's wrap this one up with the almighty man himself, Johnny Lawrence,
who does not age.
No, first off, I think what they should do, his next show should be his character he played in Back to School, and then we could see his part of it, part of his swims, the swims team, his side versus Thornton Mellon's son. That's what I want to see next. But
well, all right,
this dude went all out, and what can you say about it? He was funny. He was dated. Pure character growth, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the whole hair metal thing because, like, the music's my life, but like that, all the songs and how dated. Even some of the dialogue he had, where he talked about hey, we should make a video for you.
Yes, that first season, Jesus.
Put AC/DC Thunderstruck in there, and she's like, "Well, you need to get the copyrights," and he doesn't understand music. He's like, I bought the tape. I have the rights to it. He goes, it's in the front of my car. Like,
oh my God. Yeah. He was, yeah. That one. Whew. He, when he would bring his shit into the pawn shop to store it, like to get money. It's like, what are you talking about, man? This is, top of the line. And they're like, yeah, 30 years ago.
Yep.
Like, what the?
I love too when he was sending pictures to Allie, like recent, but they were all pictures from the 80s. Like he has no picture of himself. He didn't understand email. He goes, I emailed her. How long is it going to take? He's like, what, a few weeks for that to go through? It's like, no, instantaneously. Like he doesn't understand anything.
No, he's oblivious to everything that is technology, and it kind of reminds me of like, well, my question is like why though? Like I know the first season he's like a bum and he's just been trying to survive for 30 years.
When you say why, I think he was a guy that didn't like change. Like he reminded me of like my father. Like my father never sat at a computer in his life. Like he's just old school Italian, like, like this is how it was. But maybe he was just comfort in that zone of like, he obviously the tournament screwed him up, but there's more than life than that. But then you learn like, he ran out of the hospital when Robbie was being born. Like he wasn't ready for change. He wasn't there for when his son was born. So I just think the dude didn't want to go with time. I think his comfort was, and I hate to say it, but I know a lot of people like that. Like they're still stuck in high school.
Yeah.
They're in their 40s. They can't stop talking about their high school years. You're like, dude, dude, this is you want to do remember when? Like that's all you want to be known for is remember when? Like I'm trying to write my story every day. Every day matters because I don't know when I'm out of here.
Yeah. Facts.
Yep.
So yeah, that's deep. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense. It does make sense. I do want. I think what they do. How can I say what his writing, his the way they wrote him that first season was very much like the stereotypical our parents.
Yeah.
You know, it was like our parents that were straight up technologically inept, you know, like they didn't know, they don't know anything. And I just found it all hilarious. And doesn't he call Twitter a twatter or something
I don't know, but I do love on how soft we got, like between the the crybaby cancel culture. Thank God that stuff's over with now. But there's stuff you couldn't say. He was like the old man, even though he wasn't an old man. That's like
he was like Gran Torino. He was the Gran Torino.
Yeah, it's exactly. Get off my lawn. He said it.
Like you can't say that. Since
I love like the second rule of Cobra Kai through him was like, don't be a pussy. I love that.
Yes.
They don't say that anymore, you know?
Don't be a pussy. Like, what is so wrong with saying that? You know, like you're teaching, like life sucks. Life is hard.
Not everyone could do it. Like, are you going to do this or not? Like, this isn't for everybody.